Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Kristopher Long. He is the vocalist of Clockwork Asylum from Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to be talking to him about their new album that's out right now called Eve of the Eclipse. And I'm going to be talking to him about that. Plus, they got a cover song on here that's actually pretty badass. And we're going to be talking to him about that. So, Kristopher, how's it going?
I'm going pretty well, man. Pretty cold up here in Tennessee this day.
Oh, I'd say so, man. You guys got hit with the, I guess, I wouldn't call it big snowstorms. You got some pretty good snow down there.
Well, we got some snow in some areas lighter than others, but cold's cold, and I'd rather it snow a foot if it's going to snow at all.
Come on, spring. Come on.
That's right.
65 days, and we're right at spring, so hang on in there, folks. So,
Hey, well, I can't say nothing. Here in Tennessee, 1993 and 98, we had the biggest blizzards on record in springtime, so I'm not going to say anything about spring come on by the date. I just can't wait till we get some warm weather, and it stays that way.
That's crazy, man. I know the feeling. What's impressed you or excited you the most about making the new album, Eve of the Eclipse? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, man?
Well, the biggest thing is with the entire project is just the fluidity of with how we come together with the music. You know, when we practice, we usually write one or two new ideas about every practice. We've probably got 30 songs right now that could be finished, that could be on another album. Working with both Troy Whitson at Sound Asylum Studios and Mike Stevenson from Classic Recording Studios. Both of those guys are just great to work with. They're very easy to get along with. They want, the best out of your music, just like you want the best out of your recording. So it's just how everything works so easily with us. I mean, when it comes to the music side of it, that's the easiest part for us, and that's what excites me most about this project.
Any songs off the new album stand out more to you than any on it as of right now, possibly?
Well, my personal favorite on there is called Into the Darkroom. It's the first song that we wrote as a collective, and it's my favorite song. It's got the most emotion that I put into it myself. I mean, I'm sure everybody else has got their own, their own picks, their own favorites, but for me, it's Into the Darkroom. The other track that stands out fairly well, like you were talking about earlier, is the cover we do of Come Together. We were in the studio, guys, if we wanted to record one more because we got everything else done so quick, and we decided to pick that one, pay the royalties so we could put it on the album and everything, and nothing but positive feedback on it since we released it. So
that is a badass cover. And I'm not just saying that because you're on here, but I mean, I'm honestly telling you the truth. That's a really, really great cover you guys did of that.
Thank you very much.
So, talking about the producers you worked with, how was working with those guys? Did they let you just do your own thing, then step in, or let's talk about that a little bit. How was working with those two guys?
Well, 3 songs we recorded a couple of years ago, and another incarnation of this project, I guess the word you'd use. We had a different name and had a couple of different members, but we kept the songs laid over to this project because we just got, new members and changed the name. The first producer, he's very easy to get along with. Once again, you walk in, lay your stuff down. If he hears a mistake, he will stop and make you do it again until you get it right. And honestly, I mean, that's the way both of them do. Troy at Sound Asylum and Mike at Classic, they're both, very hands-on. They're not just the type to hit play and say, okay, fine. Is that how you wanted it? Fine. If they hear a mistake, they will let you know about it. If they hear something not quite right, they want to do it again because obviously they want their product to come out sounding just as good as possible for them, just as much for us. So we're very lucky to have 2 producers, engineers in this region that are very good at their job.
Well, sure, man. You don't want somebody, you don't want to be a producer and have somebody have a band come in and record at your location and it be just shit. I mean, that's going to be a reflection on you as a producer. You know what I mean? You want to have the best product put out there. That way you get more people come to you. That's for sure.
Right. And, for the time, the cost, I wouldn't recommend many other in this region than those 2.
So how long did it take to get the album recorded working with all these people?
Well, like I said, the first 3 songs that we recorded, we did a couple of years ago, and we just kind of had them on the shelf. We had them on Reverb Nation, to listen and stream only. We wasn't offering them for sale or download or anything until we got the full debut EP recorded. We went into recording with Mike at Classic Recording Studios to finish up the last 5 songs, and we honestly got them done in 2 recording sessions. I mean, we went in and laid it down. It took almost longer for him to mix and master than it did for us to actually record it. So, which speaks to, once again, the fluidity of this band. You know, we're able to come right in and do our job, knock it out of the park. And I was very proud of our guys, especially with our drummer. It was our drummer's very first experience recording drum tracks in a studio. He'd played percussion on a few things before for other projects, but this was his first time behind the kit in a real studio. And he came, Thomas Tittle, much love to him, brother. He came in and laid his stuff down. I think 4 songs were 1 take. He had to do 2 or 3 takes on another song, but I'm proud of him all the way around.
For sure, to get it down in 1 take, that's pretty damn good if you ask me. You said you had about roughly 30 songs, maybe. Are these songs going to see the light of day? Possibly. I mean, hopefully on a new album, maybe coming up.
Well, we've got to get back together and finish the writing process on a lot of them. We're taking our winter break right now, as far as performing and, you know, getting through the holidays and just, you know, letting everybody have time with their families and everything like that. Because, you know, yes, we are a band, yes, we are friends, but we treat this band like a family as well. And, you know, we wanted to take, our last show was December 15th, so we figured we'd take from there until, actually might be getting back into rehearsals this weekend or maybe even next weekend. So they're going to be seeing the light of day. We don't have anything scheduled or booked just yet. We have a show booked in April, but I can't really talk about it just yet. We like to take our time. We don't want to oversaturate our market. We don't try to go play every bar every weekend. You know, we try to pick our spots nicely, good venues, good bands supporting, or us supporting other good bands. But as quick as we can get this stuff down and as quick as I can get my lyrics finished, these songs will be seeing the light of day. And as far as a new album, we're still kind of milking this first one right now. I mean, we're still getting a lot of good response off it. So, I mean, we do have plans on going back to the studio and laying some of these new songs down. Just not sure on a timetable just yet.
Yeah, and folks, if you haven't realized it yet, with my YouTube channel, some of the interviews that I've done, Clockwork Asylum Neighbors is the intro and outro to some of these videos. So I give Kristopher and Clockwork Asylum a big kudos for letting me do that, because a lot of bands won't let you just do that. So thanks, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate the outlet. I mean, you know, you fans hearing our music, just to come hear, you know, interviews that you have, that's a win-win for everybody. So, yeah. I mean, that's the way we look at it anyway.
That's exactly right, man. You put your music to, like, say, Phil Anselmo or somebody like that, people's going to take notice of that. Like, who's that intro coming from? You know, and they're going to go look. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, and that's how I looked at it. I mean, I'm stoked just to be kind of following Phil Anselmo. I saw last week that y'all had an interview with him.
Yep.
And then my interview scheduled the next week, and, I mean, that might not be impressive to some, but to me, I'm super geek fanboy over here right now, geeking out, knowing that I'm going to be on the same show as Phil Anselmo.
That's what I normally try to do. It doesn't make a bit of difference if they're a national band or local band. I treat everybody the same, because they all came up. Man. They all came up the same fucking way. That's it. Exactly.
And that's another reason why I respect your show, because I've seen that and I've listened to that. You've not, you know, you promote just as hard on your national bands as you do any of your local band interviews. So, I mean, that stands out to me. So that's another reason why I'm glad to be working with you guys.
Yeah, that's what I've always tell everybody. I mean, just because, you know, some bands have had the luck of the draw to get out there quicker. Some just are taking a little bit longer, and I don't. To me, I treat bands the way I want to be treated, you know, and just people the same way. That's how I work.
That's our philosophy in this business and in life.
Do you still see yourself and the band growing musically, or is it more just of a personal growth for all of you guys in all this?
Well, I think we're going to grow as people and as musicians with this project, because we have an interesting dynamic. We have all been in, with the exception of the drummer, we have all been in the same project at one point in time or another previous to this. And we've all been let down by past projects, people not pulling their weight, people not doing the things they say they're going to do. And in this band, you know, I'm the lead singer, but I'm not just the lead singer. You know, I do promotion, I do booking. Our lead guitar player is not just the lead guitar player. He does promotion and booking. You know, we all have our own little niche in the band. And plus, what we lack in some areas, another member of the band makes up for it. Mm-hmm. You know, like, for instance, Tommy's inexperience is recording, and, you know, where he's played in a majority of just, cover bands, bar bands, he's not really been in a project that's been as, professional as we are, as we try to be. So, where he lacks in that, the rest of us make up for it and, help bring him up to speed. And, like our rhythm guitar player and lead guitar player dynamic is outstanding, because what Randy lacks as a rhythm player, our rhythm player makes up for, and vice versa. What our rhythm player lacks as a lead, our lead guitar player more than makes up for. So we're not just, any random 5 guys that just happen to join up. I mean, to us, it seems like we were kind of destined to be brought together with this project just because of how well everything flows musically, and then every band has their struggles. We all do. It's no secret that, it's not rainbow and sunshine all day, every day, but we get through the dark patches. And that's what builds our character stronger, not only as bandmates, but as brothers. And that's what we try to strive for.
Kristopher, do you guys do anything differently during the writing and recording process, to help keep your minds open and fresh to new stuff and not let the music get stale? Because I know sometimes it could get repetitive and, and it can get same old. But do you guys do anything differently to not let that happen?
Well, I mean, we try to take a conscious effort to just let music come out, and then we go back and listen to it, and this might sound a little bit like this, so we need to tweak this, or this might sound too much like this, so we might need to tweak this, or hey, you've already wrote that riff once before. Oh yeah, I did, so we need to scrap it or put it, I mean, I don't think it'd be necessarily anything different. We just try to make a conscious effort to not only make music that we like, but music that we hope that other people will like. And yeah, we understand that there's really not much originality in music. It's really hard to be original in this day and age because everything's been done.
True.
But if we can put our own groove to it and make people think of Pantera, Killswitch Engage, Tool, or, Slipknot, anybody. Oh, these guys had this one song that sound. I mean, if you listen to our EP, there's 8 songs on there and 1 hidden track, and they all kind of have a different vibe to them. Some sound similar, but they don't sound the same. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we try to strive for. We try to give familiarity to the audience, but put our own stamp of it and put our own groove on it.
What do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start listening to it, or just Clockwork Asylum's music in general, man?
We just hope they enjoy it, and we hope that when they come see us live, they get the same feeling from our live performance as they do from listening to the CD. And once again, we're not trying to be better than anybody or be worse than anybody. We're just trying to be us and go out and have a good time. And the way I look at it is, if you go out and have a good time, project yourself having a good time, then the people who are there is going to have a good time too. It just rubs off. And I think we proved that fairly well in our last few shows. I mean, everybody was on their game that night, all bands, our city release party and our last show. Everybody just had a good time. And that's the one constant that everybody kept coming up to me or sending me messages on Facebook afterwards to be like, hey, man, love the CD. We had a great time at the show. It was a fun time with you guys. And that's what we really want. We want the fans to have a fun time with our music, both listening to it at home and coming to see us live.
Speaking of having a good time at the shows, what can fans expect at a show from Clockwork Asylum who have not got to see you guys live yet?
To expect the unexpected, because honestly, I can't tell you what we plan to do the next show because I really don't know. We just let the music take us wherever we need to go. We let the vibe of the room take us wherever we need to go. Every night's a fun night. You could expect to see us pranking each other. You could see us, jump on stage with another band and dance along with them and sing with them, as long as it's cool with them first. We don't just do it at random. We want to make sure that everybody's on the same page before we do something like that. But we're really unexpected, man. I mean, we've considered actually filming our antics both at practice and at show days and stuff like that and putting that out as a DVD or something, because it's pure entertainment. I mean, between the goofy stuff that we do at practice, I mean, my God, we could have probably went viral on YouTube right now if something would have been filmed and put up. So
come out and start doing some yoga on stage live.
Hey, man, I'm a DDP yoga proponent. So, I mean, to be honest, some of the poses I have done on stage, I'm not going to lie to you.
I want to try the DDP yoga. I need to badly. I want to so bad. But
man, it's all you got to do is get started, dude. And I'll tell you, I'm not trying to plug DDP yoga on it, but man, it's outstanding. I've taken a break from it because I kind of tweaked my shoulder and my knees a little bit, and but I still try to stay active in it as much as I can. But it is a life-changing program if you do it, and anybody can do it. They've got, it's not like any normal televised, workout program thing where you see the infomercial and all the fitness models are out there showing that they can do this stuff. DDP actually uses people that have succeeded from his program in his workouts, and you can see their weight loss and you can see their progression, and that helps motivate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's very well worth the money, man. I mean, I'm not trying to plug DDP. We don't have no relationship with him at all, other than I'm the one doing the program, and I'll stand by it forever.
Yeah, I was going to try that once I got some extra cash flow. I definitely want to try it for sure. Since it's the digital era of recording albums and social media, for a band that was around when there was no social media, I'm just talking about like bands prior to this, or digital ways of recording, is this frustrating now, or do you think it helps these bands out more since they can reach more people, old and new fans, to discover their music?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, kind of. I mean, you've got your good points and bad points, just like with anything else. But with certain platforms, to be honest, I kind of miss MySpace. I mean, MySpace was far and away better for bands and for networking than Facebook is. Facebook, as we all know, throttles down your reach unless you pay for it. I mean, it's a great tool, don't get me wrong. It's I can reach someone in California just with the click of a button, and that's a lot easier than I could have years ago when we didn't have it, obviously. But that also floods the market with so many bands and so many, new songs, new singles, new styles, new everything. And honestly, I think sometimes that the general public kind of gets annoyed with seeing a lot of stuff about bands, all the time. And, and that's not really, how I truly feel about it, but it's kind of how I feel about it at times when I'm trying to, push one of our singles, and, I'm having to tag so many people on this page just so I can get the reach without having to pay Facebook another $30, $40 to boost this post. And, I try to do that on a more important, if we, like our CD release party show or the album release, yeah, I'll pay to boost those posts. But if we're just trying to get other people to hear our music, I don't really see the sense of paying for that. So I just try to tag as many people as I can to get the reach as far as I can. But then again, Facebook also is kind of anti-networking. It's the only social networking site that will ban you from adding friend requests or ban you from sending messages or, something like that. And I mean, and it's not even if you're doing anything wrong. I mean, I can understand if you're doing something illegal, but all I'm trying to do is get somebody to hear my music that might not have heard it. And because I've clicked this thing too many times, it triggers me. And that's the frustrating part for me. I mean, I love doing this stuff or I wouldn't even be doing it. But the frustrating part is how, you have to pay to get heard. And I'm not really a big fan of that. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they should give us an open market when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, if somebody don't want to hear our music, then they wouldn't have liked our page. That's the way I look at it. And we've got 2,900 likes on our Facebook page right now, and if I just make a random post without tagging anybody, 50 people might see it, and I don't like that.
I agree with you, man. I've been doing this for 7 years. This month, January, makes 7 years, and I've got 1,500 likes on my face on BODS Mayhem Hour. But it's not. It's like I've always said. It's not the likes that you get. It's reaching that one person to like a national band or a local band. That's what it should be. And
yeah,
for me.
Lemmy from Motorhead said it best. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are or, how many likes or anything like that. If you're not in the right place at the right time, you're not going to make it.
Yep.
I mean, if you ever watch that documentary about Anvil, the band Anvil, that's where he says that at. And he's dead on right. If you're not in the right place at the right time, it doesn't matter how many likes you have, how good you are as a band, you're not going to make it. You've got to be in the right place in the right time. So that's what we try to shoot for. We play shows that we feel will benefit us. We put our music in markets that will benefit us, and hopefully we'll be in the right place at the right time.
Speaking of Anvil, and I'm not, trying to take away from the interview or anything, but it's amazing to me that band isn't as popular as it should be.
Well, I mean, if you watch that documentary, I mean, it's it kind of sheds some light on that. I mean, they've got the respect of their peers, but they don't have the respect of the fans because the fans didn't know them. For whatever reason, they didn't translate at the same time that the Big Four did, or not even the Big Four, just that whole thrash scene of the 80s. They didn't translate that well. I mean, you see, they go to Japan right now. They're huge.
Oh, yeah.
People still love Anvil in Japan right now, and they still, sell records on their own. They just didn't reach that main market success. And honestly, my personal feelings on it, I don't necessarily think it was so much right place at the right time. I think they had the opportunities. I think they might have gotten held down by some of the other bands.
True. Possibly, yeah. So coming from Knoxville, man, do you guys get a lot of support? And is there a big, I guess, I don't want to say like a big metal scene, but do you guys find it easier getting shows locally, or do you have to get out a whole lot more compared to maybe say like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago maybe?
10, 12 years ago, the scene in the entire East Tennessee region was a lot bigger than it was now. It's really the difficulty of getting shows comes down to lack of venues. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, you could go somewhere to the old city in Knoxville and 10, 15 bars down the strip, you could book them pretty much any night of the week. Now, we've got some good, there's still good venues in Knoxville. I mean, the open chord's great, international's great. It's just when you've got so many bands, you can't book the same, venues don't want to book the same bands every week, obviously. And when you've got so many bands trying to get an open spot, it just kind of makes it hard sometimes to get those shows. So, but that's something that we don't look at. We're not the type of band that just goes to play, everywhere and anywhere. We understand that our style of music's not going to go over at a country bar, so we're not going to try to book it. Our style of music's not going to go over at a, local hole-in-the-wall bar that's usually got karaoke or cover bands every weekend. We come in as an original band, that's not going to go over as well. We try to go where they want to hear our style of music. So whether it's in Knoxville, it's in the Tri-Cities region, which we've only been a band for 2 years in this collective. So we haven't really tried to branch out too far past local just yet. We've got our sights set and got our irons in the fire, so they say, but we haven't got out of the region just yet. But we are planning to do so within the next few years. But we also know that that's not going to come overnight. We're not going to be expected to, let's go book a tour in Florida. Well, they haven't heard of us yet. If we can't draw a crowd in our own hometown, then what makes Florida think we can draw in theirs? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, I mean, that's why we're focusing right now on building our local and regional fan base. And, we're doing very well on that. Every show that we've played, we keep getting more people at them. So that's a sign to me that we're on the right track.
Since you guys are on Bandcamp and people, downloading your music, things like that, paying for it, but let me ask you this. Do you guys see a country or location that kind of shocks you that people are, buying your album for the Bandcamp side or anything like that, that kind of stands out more to say like, well, that's pretty cool? For me, not really, just because I'm the one that's generally the one doing the things online and I'm putting our music in the places. I mean, that's my role outside of being lead singer. I'm the one that handles most of the promotion and all that stuff. So when I see that somewhere in England has bought our album, it doesn't really surprise me because I've made a few online friends in England. I've got a few friends in Brazil, so it doesn't really surprise me. The one that kind of did surprise me the most was Iraq. We did have somebody buy a single from Iraq, and that, honestly, in this day and age, I didn't know if that was real or if some hacker had got into our stuff and just decided to buy our, I mean, I'm thankful for their 99 cents, don't get me wrong. I'm thankful they bought the single, but, I just wasn't expecting it to be in Iraq. So, hey, if you're a listener in Iraq and you love our stuff, appreciate it. So what made you want to become a musician, Kristopher? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do?
Oh, man, when I was a teenager, dude, music's been a big part of my life throughout my life, even before I was in this world. My mom and dad used to take me to concerts in the womb, apparently. Of course, I don't remember this stuff, but I've heard stories from dad and mom. They took me to, I think it was Jethro Tull and Thin Lizzy, and there was another one, I can't remember who it was, but apparently I got to see 3 or 4 pretty big concerts before I was even brought into the world. And then I look at them today and I'm like, and you guys wonder why I'm a hard rock musician? Come on. Yeah. I mean, it's your guys' fault. You put it in my DNA. But the actual moment, honestly, that made me want to pick up a guitar is really when Nirvana came on the scene. When Nirvana came on the scene, it changed things for me for some reason. and it just struck a chord with me, resonated with me, and I started playing in a band not long after that. And then, a couple of years later, I got turned on to a little bit heavier style of music, which, I'd listened to some Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and stuff like that. But the first time I heard Vulgar Display of Power, it was over. When I heard Pantera, it was metal for life. And I still appreciate all styles of music, and I'm still influenced from all styles of music, but I am a metalhead through and through, and you can thank Dimebag Darrell and Phil Anselmo and Rex and Vinnie Paul for that.
Yeah. When the first time I heard Pantera, let's see, how old was I? Anyway, it wasn't a life changer. It was more of an addition. You know what I mean? It was like, Here we go. Here's something else that if this ain't working for me, I can go to Pantera. You know what I mean? It was.
Oh yeah, and that's still to this day. If I'm listening to something that's just not feeling it for me, whether it's our own stuff or other people's stuff, or if I just need something that reminds me of why I love this so much, Pantera goes in my CD player or my MP3 player.
Yeah. There's not a bad Pantera album out there. I don't care what anybody says. That's just my opinion. Suicide Note Part 1, that whole guitar riffs of Dimebags is just eerie.
Man, I'm even a fan of the glam Pantera metal albums, the power metal and all that stuff before Vulgar. Granted, in my opinion, it's not as great as when Phil joined the band and they progressed into the harder stuff, but I'm still a fan of it.
Well, they have an album called I Am the Night. They had several before Cowboys from Hell came out.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I Am the Night is for one of them for sure. And they had a different logo, too. They had a cat, I think, for Pantera. And I'll tell you something. And I'll tell you something that's cool though. You could see the transition when Phil came on Cowboys from Hell. You could see the transition that they went through, and that they were going through. So it blows my mind though that Phil was kind of glamorous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine, but he is on vocals on their last album before Cowboys, too. He does the vocals on it. He didn't write any of it. I think Terry Glaze did all the writing on that album, but Phil did the vocals there. And then Cowboys from Hell came out, and I think what they truly wanted to be to begin with finally shone through, and that's what got them to where they became. And I might be in the minority here, but I want to see them get back together with Zakk Wylde or even a bunch of random guitar players. I don't want to call it a Pantera reunion because it can't be.
Right.
But I would love to see Vinnie Paul and Rex and Phil be able to bury whatever hatchet just to play that music in honor of Dime, even if it's just one more show, or even if it's just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction that they should get, and if they don't get them, I'm going to be very upset. But yeah, I personally want to see it. I understand Vinny's feelings, and don't get me wrong, I don't fault him for him, and if he don't ever want to see Phil or any of them again, that's on him, and I respect him for it. But as a fan of the music, part of me still just wants to see it happen.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, buy this album, tour dates, when you guys go on the road or whatever? How can they do that, Kristopher?
Well, right now we are actually in the process of building a legitimate website. We already have the domain name, but right now if you click that domain name, it goes straight to our Facebook page because that's where most of our action takes place. The domain name itself is clockworkasylum.rocks. You can go there and it'll lead you everywhere. Facebook.com/Clockwork Asylum Rocks. We're on Twitter, Clockwork Asylum, Instagram. We're on all the social media. We're on Bandcamp. We're on Reverb Nation. If you type in Clockwork Asylum Rocks, all one word, you'll be able to find us anywhere. Mainly right now, it's Facebook. You can hit us up on messages. We don't have our website up yet for our merch to buy, other than, you can buy the singles and stuff on Spotify and, whatever outlet you choose to go through there. But if you send us a message and you want a shirt, you want a CD, you want a poster, you want any of our merch, we've actually been running this thing called the inmate package right now. That's one of everything we have. It was one poster, I think it's 2 bracelets, 2 guitar picks, CD, and a T-shirt for $30. And if you want one of those, just feel free to hit us up on Facebook, and we'll make it happen. We do have a PayPal. We can send you the link to that and handle it all internally until we do get our website up. But the website will be coming, and it will be at the domain clockworkasylum.rocks.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, not at all. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kristopher Long, lead singer from Clockwork Asylum, and you are listening to one of the best internet stations on the planet, BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Kristopher.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
That's when I take my